So you need to add the money together to find the total amount of money that they earned. And you'll draw your strip diagram. There's 4 people, so you want 4 equal sections. And each section is represented by M. And then the total amount is 156. And then you can find out how much money each person got by taking 156 and dividing by 4. Use your steps. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? First you're going to divide. 4 won't fit into 1, so then I have to say how many times will 4 go into 15. We'll go in there 3 times, so I put it above the 3 above the 5. You want to keep your digits lined up. My next step is to multiply. 3 times 4. Then your next step is to subtract. 15 minus 12 is 3. Check. Is 3 smaller than 4? Yes, so bring down. You're going to bring down the 6. Then you're going to start all over again. You're going to divide. 4 goes into 36 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36. And then you subtract, check, and there's nothing to bring down. So each person would get $39. All right, they want you to draw a diagram for Maddie. She read a total of 196 pages on 4 days. I'm going to draw my strip diagram, and for 4 days, we know the first day she read 82, and the 4th day she read 64. We don't know how much she read day 2 and day 3, but we know it was the same amount, and it's represented by P. And they want us to figure out how much she read on the 3rd day. So we know altogether that she read 196 pages. So I can add the 1st and 4th day together, and that will tell me how many pages she read on those 2 days combined. And then I can subtract that from 196. Always subtract going down. So she read 50 pages between day 2 and day 3. And since she read the same amount both days, then I can take 50 and divide it by 2. I'm going to do that over here because I don't have enough room. And then if you want, you can use the box method, or you can use this method. Some of you like the box, so you would draw your box. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. You multiplied, now you're going to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Then instead of bringing your 0 down, you bring your 1 up. Then you say, how many times does 2 go into 10? Goes 5 times. Multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract. And 0. So she read 25 pages on the 2nd day and 25 pages on the 3rd day. So the answer to our question would be 25 pages. All right. Peyton has some blueberries, and she separated them into 4 equal groups. So you have a total of 468 blueberries divided into 4 equal groups. And they want to know how many are in 2 groups. So we've got to first figure out how many blueberries are in 1 group. So I can do 468 divided by 4. I can divide using the box method. And I want to divide by 4. So 4 goes into 4 1 time. Multiply. You're using the same steps. Divide, multiply, subtract. Check. Is 0 smaller than 4? It is. So you're going to bring it on down or bring it over. So I'm going to bring my 0 up here to my 6. Then you divide again. 4 goes into 6 1 time. Multiply, subtract, check, and bring it down or over. Then you start over again. 4 goes into 28 7 times. Multiply. 7 times 4. Subtract. 28 minus 24 is 4. Oh, I did that wrong. Sorry. 28 minus 28 is 0. So then that lets you know that there are 117 blueberries in each group. But the question asks how many are in 2 groups, so then you would need to add 2 of these together. So you could do 117 plus 117. 7 plus 7 is 14. Carry your 1. You get 234. All right, Bullard Elementary and Bullard Intermediate have a total of 824 kids. in grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, so that's 4 grades. And they have the same number in each grade, and they want you to write the steps used to find the combined numbers in just grades 3 and 4. So first you would need to divide 824 divided by 4, and that would be equal to students in 1 grade. And when you divide that out, I'm going to have to write small because I don't have much room. Goes in there 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. And I have 0 left over, and I bring that 0 up here. 4 won't go into 2, so I have to put a 0 up here. And then I still subtract. And then I can bring the 2 up here. 4 goes into 24 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 minus 24 is 0. So there are 206 students in 1 grade, and then I need to multiply that times 2 to figure out how many would be in grades 3 and 4. So I'm going to multiply over here. 2 times 6 is 12, carry your 1. 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 is 4. So there'd be 412 students in 2 grades. So it says about how many students would she have per, or pets would she have per month? So 353 would be about 400. And then if it was 8 months, so you would do 400 divided by 8. And think about when we multiply by tens and hundreds. So how many times would 8 go into 40? Goes in there 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And then 8 goes into 0 times, and you have 0 left over. So she had about 50 pets per month. All right, Katie is dividing these balloons into 3 equal groups, and to the nearest 100, about how many balloons were in each group. So it even tells you here to round to the nearest 100, so 578 would be about 600. So then you would take 600 and divide it by 3. You can use the box method or the traditional. 3 goes into 6 2 times. That's your divide. Then your next step is to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Your next step is to subtract. And then check. 0 is smaller than 3. And then you're going to bring it down or over. So then you have 0. Well, 3 goes into 0 times. And then you do that one more time. And if you know that 3 goes into 6 2 times, you can probably remember that 3 goes into 600 200 times. So there are about 200 balloons in each group. So we have some extra information here. We don't have to worry about the cost of the tickets. We have 672 people in the audience, and it's divided into 4 sections. And we don't know how many people are in each section, but we know the same amount of people are in each section. So we're going to take the number 672, and we're going to divide it by 4. 4 will go into 6 one time. Multiply, subtract. Check. Is 2 smaller than 4? It is. Remember, if you get a number bigger than what you are dividing by, then you need to use a bigger number up here. So bring down your 7. And then you divide into the 27. 4 goes into 27 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract. Check. And then bring down your 2. Divide again. 4 goes into 32 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. And you subtract and have a remainder of 0. So there were 168 people in each group. One cage has 24 lizards, and one cage contains snakes, and another contains turtles. So you have to figure out how many are not lizards. Always subtract going down. So then you have 34 reptiles to split between the turtles and snakes. There's an equal number in each one, so you would draw a diagram that finds R for the reptiles that are turtles, and snakes are the same, but the question is only worried about turtles, which is going to be the same number as snakes. So we need to take 34, divide it by 2 because there's 2 equal groups, You can use your same steps. This time I'll do the traditional method and the box method at the same time so you can watch. Same steps. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? How many times will 2 go into 3? Goes in there 1 time. Then you multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Then you subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Check. 1 is smaller than 2. Your next step is to bring down. You're either going to bring down your 4 or you're going to bring your 1 up to the 4. Either way, your next step is to divide again. 14 divided by 2. 2 goes into 14 7 times. Then you multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract. 0 is smaller than 2, so we checked. There's nothing to bring down. So there are 17 snakes and turtles. People in a shopping mall. There's 1,248 people, and there are 8 stores, and the same amount of people work at each store. So you have to divide. Eight won't fit into 1, but it will fit into 12 one time. So you write the 1 above the 2. Multiply and subtract. 12 minus 8 is 4. Then check. Is 4 smaller than 8? It is. So then you are ready to bring down your 4. Or you can bring this 4 up here. And then you say how many times will 8 go into 44? And it goes in there 5 times. 8 times 5 is your next step to multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. And then you subtract. 44 minus 40 is 4. Check. 4 is smaller than 8. So then you can, bring down your 8 or bring your 4 up. And then you say how many times will 8 go into 48? It goes in there 6 times. And then you subtract. 8 times 6 is 48. And then you subtract 48 minus 48 is 0. I ran out of room right there. So there are 156 people that work at each store. Number 10, we changed that number to 784 times, and doesn't really matter if you change that one, but you can change that one to 6. So he took 784 seconds to ride around 6 times. So then it says, what is the best estimate? So we're going to take 784, and I rounded it to 780. And so then if I divide that by 6, when you don't have a lot of room to write, you can do the box method and it goes across and then it doesn't take up as much room on your paper. 6 goes into 7 one time. Subtract, you get 1. Bring your 1 up here to the 8. 6 goes into 18 3 times. Next step is to multiply. 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract. 18 minus 18 is 0. Bring your 0 up. 6 goes into 0 times. You still have to put that 0 up there. So it took him about 130 seconds to go around the block one time. I'm going to stop that and make part 2.